What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys another video. And today we're doing What If Lee Was Jinchuuriki episode 2. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Lee would take Naruto to the training field and would begin to teach him how to use fire chakra in his throat to create a fireball, demonstrating the technique to Naruto. When Naruto tries to replicate it, he merely breathes out smoke in a comedic scene. Try as he might, Naruto is unsuccessful at learning the technique, despite Lee trying to teach him. Lee theorizes that maybe if he tried teaching Naruto something else, it might have worked, but he's too far along by now to switch it up. Naturally, the tuning exams arrive with Team Guy eager to enter. When going to the test, Lee wouldn't challenge Sasuke, since he already know enough about him from Naruto and wouldn't really want to. Instead, Neji would speak up and challenges Naruto to a fight, since he knows Lee is friends with him and wants to see if it's because of his strength. Lee would rush over to tell Naruto, advising him not to, but Naruto's meat-headed nature would override this warning. He rushes at Neji, going to punch him, which Neji dodges, landing a hit to his gut with his gentle fist. He speed blitzes Naruto, landing a barrage of attacks onto him, which Naruto can barely react to. Before he can kill Naruto, Sasuke rushes in front and hits Neji away, telling him to leave Naruto alone. It doesn't hurt the Hyuga, but he does back off. Naruto is left holding his gut in pain, barely able to breathe, as he coughs up some blood. Using his Sharingan, Sasuke determines that something is wrong with Naruto's chakra, and asks if he can make it. Lee explains about the Hyuga fighting style, which makes Team 7 panic. They believe that they'll have to forfeit the tuning exams because of this. Knowing that's not an option, Naruto stands up, telling them that he'll be fine, and begins to stumble towards the exam room. Throughout the first exam, Naruto's body would slowly begin to open up the chakra nodes and brings Naruto back up in health. Lee would notice this and smiles, asking the Yombi if it's because he's a Jinchuuriki, to which the Monkey Beast confirms. In the Forest of Death, Lee would of course find Sakura fighting Team Dosu, and would rush in to save them for slightly different reasons. Lee would begin the fight with Dosu the same, until Dosu begins to amplify the sound to take him down. Once realizing this, Lee activates his lava armor, covering his ears, which would help block out the sound, allowing Lee to stand up and attack Dosu, making Zaku and Kin have to step in to help. Using lava release, Lee burns Dosu's sound device, melting it to his sound Genin's arm, leaving singe marks all over, rendering Dosu useless. While this is all going on, Son would be in telepathic contact with Kurama, asking why he's keeping Naruto under. The fox growls that it isn't his problem if the brat is beaten up, but even if he wanted to, his chakra flow is disrupted from a seal, which Shibiju would tell his host. Not long after this moment, Sasuke would stand up with his dark chakra around him, and break Zaku's arm before Sakura rushes up and hugs her boy toy. Lee would tell Team 7 about Naruto's chakra flow, and about how they should keep an eye on him as he leaves to reunite with his own team. While this is all going on, Team 10 encounters Neji like cannon. Due to Neji's bloodlust and need to be better than Lee, the Hyuga takes his aggression out on the three, rushing at them and attacking them. They leap backwards afraid for their lives, afraid of the angry Hyuga. Neji would attack Choji first, since he's the slowest out of the bunch, hitting him hard. Inon tells Shikamaru that it's fine, since he doesn't have the scroll, which would get some emotion out of the Narucon member. Choji is his best friend, he won't just leave him behind. Shikamaru catches Neji with the Shadow Possession to try and stop him, doing quite well. He shouts for Ino to save Choji, which the blonde does, afraid, running away with the injured Akamichi over her shoulder. Neji looks at Shikamaru, using his Byakugan to see Choji and Ino getting away, asking Shikamaru what his plan is. His teammates aren't close enough to save him from the onslaught he's about to come, and his chakra can't hold out long enough for them to come back with a retaliation attack. Shikamaru tells Neji that he doesn't really care right now. Being part of a team comes with sacrifices, and if he has to do that to save them, then so be it. Plus, they have the scroll, and Neji isn't quick enough to catch them, and take it. Neji doesn't care about that, however, instead grasping onto the notion that Shikamaru would sacrifice himself for his team. When the Shadow Possession ends, Neji rushes away, conflicted about something. The Forest of Death section would end, beat for beat, except there is one key difference. Due to the injuries he sustained from Neji, Choji would be withdrawn from the tuning exams. Wanting to make sure his best friend is going to survive, as well as feeling somewhat guilty, Shikamaru would forfeit as well, despite everyone else wishing he hadn't. Ino would want to follow them, but Shikamaru tells her there's no point in them all forfeiting, so she would remain in the roster in that epic battle against Sakura. For this what if, I think it makes a lot of sense to keep the roster the same as it was in canon, since there are barely any changes to the fights, besides Lee and Neji being a bit different. So for this what if we'll keep it the same, and, since you guys really wanted to leave versus Gaara again. Kin would fight Dosu, which would be much more even than first thought. With his sound weapon being broken, Dosu has to resort to using ninja weapons as taijutsu to defeat her, which I think he could do, judging by his knowledge of how Kin fought, and how weak Kin is, only using Senbon. Against Hinata, due to his added bloodlust and aggression, Neji would take down Hinata even quicker than he originally had, causing even more damage to her than he originally did. This means that Hinata would be recovering for quite a bit longer than she had, but luckily, however, she would be alive. When Lee enters the arena against Gaara, something feels different about him. He feels very different to everyone else, except for Naruto. His eyes widen in shock as the Yonbi confirms Lee's suspicion. Gaara is also Jinchuuriki. Excitedly, Lee asks Gaara what tail he is, which everyone else won't understand except for the Sand Shinobi and Naruto. Gaara simply ignores the question as the fight begins. It'd start off like it originally did, all the way up until when Lee discards his weight. He rushes at Gaara, uses his sand to create a wall to block Lee, who uses a fire dragon jutsu, superheating the sand, turning it to glass for Lee to kick through, attacking Gaara head-on with a powerful attack. Gaara tries to retaliate with sand spikes, but Lee blocks it with a mud wall jutsu. He then uses the headhunter jutsu to go underground, and pops up back somewhere else, getting a potshot in, before going underground and reappearing somewhere else, in a weird twisted game of whack-a-mole. Getting bored of Lee's games, Gaara unleashes his full bloodlust, which everyone feels afraid of his power. Using Magnet Release, Gaara fires sun into every hole, filling up with Lee still underground, trying to suffocate him. For a moment, there's no action, with everyone in shock at what occurred. Hayate is about to call it before the ground begins to heat up rapidly, and breaks open in a mini explosion as Lee leaps out, wielding the fourth gear as well as his lava armor. Everyone looks on in awe, feeling Lee's power radiating off of him. This proceeds to anger Gaara, as he uses a sand coffin surrounding him, trying to crush him. Before it can even consume him, Lee leaps out in a molten blur, kicking Gaara as hard as possible with a loud, audible crack, slamming Gaara into a wall swiftly. Lee uses the reverse lotus on Gaara, using his lava armor to cause even more damage to the redhead. He slams Gaara into one of the sand holes, and then looks over into the crowd, holding his thumb out with its typical grin. Lee exclaims how cool Lee is, as Sasuke takes great interest in him, and Neji scoffs in disgust, as Guy exclaims that that's the power of youth. From behind Lee, Gaara begins to rise using the sand as a platform, his eyes staring daggers at him, as his mouth seemingly bubbles like a feral animal. A sand shield surrounds Gaara, alerting the Sand Shinobi to something extremely terrifying. Kankuro remarks that they're all about to die, which confuses Naruto, asking Kankuro what he means, afraid as what's to come. The Yonbi tells Lee that he has to finish this now, telling him about Gaara beginning to transform. Orochimaru is gritting his teeth, extremely angry. His plans are dismantling rapidly, he hasn't got anything ready. He'll have to improvise the plan. He rushes at Hiruzen, taking advantage of the situation. With the Kusanagi blade in hand, he places it to the throat of the third, and quickly uses a jutsu to teleport the two away. They appear on the Hokage monument without any warning, ready for battle. Meanwhile, the journeying like Kakashi, Asuma, and Guy rush off, using Kakashi's tracking hounds to search for him. Considering they're out in the open, it doesn't take long, as they all arrive next to the third, ready to assist him in battle. But guys, that's all maybe. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below to get up in the next episode. As you can see, the Chunin exams are taking a really weird turn, Neji is much more aggressive, and Gaara is just Shukaku again. And so yeah, bye!